Welcome to our weekly Mitzvah Shabbos program. This program is dedicated to Little Nishmas, my father. The Yortzeit is Chof Ches Ador this week. Lipman, Harav Hagon HaChosid, Lipman ben Harav Hagon HaChosid, Nochem. The Neshama should have an Aliyah, and we should all be reunited very soon. Today I want to learn. You remember a couple of weeks ago we learned about what the Rabbi wrote about the class in Manhattan that they should study. So Lila Nishmas, my father, today's program I want to study. We're going to learn what the Rabbi wrote, another letter that they should review it. I'll show you the Rebbe's Ksav. You can look at it now. And we're going to learn Lila Nishmas Lipman ben Nochem. Shaila. Ma'u teichen ho'inyan shebachol masav breishis namar bebriyosam vayar elikim kitoiv ma'abol lamdeinu Maiko Mashmalon, Halamiatsumi Muvan, Ashekivan Shalakim Baram, Tevim. The question is, what is the meaning where it says by when the Abishah created the world and Hashem saw it was good? I mean, there's L'chore, what's the lesson? We know everything that God does is good. So why does the Torah say each one, Vayar Hashem Kitov? This is the question. Again, remember I told you that they were learning Bible unauthorized about the creation of the world. That's why the Rebbe writes here about creation. And this was studied with the class. Now the Rebbe answers, but before the answer, he gives 3 introductions. Now we're going to do the introduction, and then it'll answer why it says Vayar Hashem Kitov. Tshuva Hagdome. Kol habriyo mischalekes la'arba daimim tzomeya chai medaber. Chiluk ikri b'negeya l'inyoneinu ben daimim tzomeya chai medaber. Asher ha'daimim tzomeya chai einei el nifal v'loi poyel v'yotze b'tava. Let me explain this first. This is the introduction. The entire creation is divided into 4 levels. The inanimate, like stones, water, metal. Growing things, like trees, grass, planets. Living animals, fish, birds, insects. And the 4th one is Medaber, speaking. That's man. Man who has intellect. But the Rebbe writes there is a fundamental difference between the other 3, between Daimim, Tzameach and Chai, and Medaber, and man. The other 3 can only be affected. They can be a Mekabel, but they cannot affect. And they were created with a nature. We'll explain it soon. So there's a difference, he says, between Daimim Tzumeya Chai. Those are one level. Medaber is another level. Now, then the Rebbe says, Lo Irak HaDaimim V'Tzumeya She'einam Yecholim Lishnes Es Mekaimam Ela Afilo HaChai Ha'oise Kamei Tarbulis V'Shinuyim Misrivos. You might think not only the daimim, the inanimate, and the growing, and tzomeach, cannot affect and have a certain nature, that they cannot even move to another place. But even the chai, the living, who does many things, and changes the surrounding. So l'chaura, seemingly, he does have a power to affect, contrary to what was just stated. But it will be shown, the Rebbe says, he's going to write, that even the living does not have the power. As the Rebbe will explain. Where do we see, how do we see Bichlal that the living do something? How can you say, the Rebbe is asking, that the first three are different than the fourth, the Medaber, but Chai is different. A stone cannot move. Grass stands, but a Chai. Where do we see, the Rebbe says, that a Chai does do things contrary to what we just spoke? Hanamolo, or Geres Bekayitz, Lachma Lemia Chayrif, Asheros Beteva Leimotzei Terev Bishvilo. An ant gathers its food in the summer for the winter. Because then it will naturally not have food. So an ant naturally gathers. So we see that they do move. How can you compare that to a stone? Another example. A silkworm weaves clothes for itself, which is very appropriate for the situation of survival. So we see that they do move. So how can you compare it to a doimim or sameach? Another example, hadvaira. The bee, he builds a honeycomb like an expert architect, and many like it. Many like that. So we see that they are different. That a chai is different than a doimim sameach. Because of the Rebbe says, Gam b'polois of elu chuki hateva. It's only teva yamakim boivimim aseikach. Be'etzem lamitos shal dover einhud moisiv al dover chosh b'briya. But even so, also these actions, it's the laws of nature that hit him. A chai take moves, let's say an ant or a bee. But this is their nature. They can't do anything else. And he's really not adding anything to creation. He has no bchira, he has no choice. That's all he does, because that's his nature. So we see that those three are different. Mashein keino adam, but a person Hashem milvad zeh she'enu muchrach b'masav v'idei abchira chofshi shaloi yochel l'istagid l'rotzen hativi asher boi oidzos asher b'yicholta liyas koyach yoytzer ubeina ba'ilom aydei masav b'oifer hamasim yochel l'sakein es ha'olam l'zachachai l'skal lo l'hir l'kaloshen azal shenat t'shutev l'kadosh baruch hu maser bereshis. However, a man, in addition to the fact that his actions are not forced, and because of his free choice, he's able to oppose his natural will. Moreover, it is in his power to create and build in the world, meaning that if his actions are done properly, he's able to fix the world, to purify and improve and illuminate the world. And as it says in Sfarim, he becomes a shutov, a partner to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So in other words, this is the first introduction, that Doimim Tzemah Yechai is one thing, and Medaber is another thing. Now let's go to the second introduction that the Rebbe writes. Engineer, Mumche, Ha'isa Mechayna, in Ikshem Shala Yachsar B'Mechayna, Mumcha Me'anitzach L'Milo Tafkido, Kein L'Yiyah B'Shum Chelik V'Dover, Shein Mevi Te'eles B'Avedosei, V'Asher Efshal Liyaz Belodei, V'Im Eina Kein, Arezach Yisorni B'Shleimus, Oisa Mechuna. What's this introduction? And let me just explain what I just read. an expert engineer who makes a machine or an airplane, just like there will be nothing missing in the professional machine from what is needed to do its job, so too there will be no part in doing in it that does not bring any usefulness to the job, and that it can be without it. And if this is not the case, then it's a lack in the one who made the machine. Because every screw is important. When a person makes a machine or an engineer, there's nothing missing. How much more so that the creator of the world did not create anything for nothing in the world, in general, and especially in the man. So every man has his tafkid in this world. And the key on Shalom Nitna Yichelas Lezachech Oilam Skalaloi Harez the Machriach Loimer Shezeu Tafkid Odom Alei Adomis Vavedosem Metelos Olav Veize Inishal Rishus Elocheva. And since the person was given the power to purify the world and improve the world, this shows that this is his mission here on earth. And this is what is expected from him. And this is not a choice, it's an obligation, which a medaber has, a person. Now let's go to the third introduction. Toiv amitis toyar zeh. Ein shayich el bedover shebetachlish lemusay. Kiim efshorim bei shekol v'shleimus psifim hashlemusay ha'in shanim tzu bedover zeh v'shumanim haksel shum izura v'yev shalom al ador v'toiv emes im chilik menu hura. What the true meaning of the word good is only something which is completely perfect. Good means perfect. Because if you are able to improve this and make it more perfect, then the thing that you're building, this holding back it's not a perfection. That means it's bad. So it's as if there is bad in the perfect. So when you say toiv means 100%, and you cannot say on a thing that has bad, good. These are the three hagdomis. Now the Rabbi is going to answer and the question why kitoiv. Ma'ina la shayla ki v'shodem kanal hagdom alef efshel lilies yitzin nivra ba'ilom oid zayis ki v'shodem kanal hagdom beis chayv alef lekachas chelik b'binyon shelilom uskalaloi uboyfu kazet nivra ilom. The answer of the question: since a person is able to create and build in the world, as we explained in the first introduction, and more so, he must take part in building the world and improving the world. And it was this manner that the world was created, as I explained in the second introduction. Harez and Noisin Mokim L'Shteitos. Again, Sheyomer Odom. Then the Bekoichi Ani Be'atzmi Heine Miskalel as Ha'olam V'Idea V'Dosei Dafke Heine Nasim Mirach Chosar Hashleimus Toiv. Oh, so that gives that a person can make then two mistakes. A person might say, it is my power and it is me who improved the world, and only through my work the world became from bad to good. A person would say, "Mibli Chaylas Hashem Chas v'Sholem v'Chas v'Sholem Livra Olam Amaloi B'Rei B'Eifu Kazeh." A person might say, because Hashem is unable to Chas v'Sholem create a perfect world, that's why He created in this manner. And that's why the Torah says, by every creation, Vayar Elokim Kishabayre Royes Adover and Nivro Shoroy Esalam Bitosai Hein Mashinim to boy Bigolo Leinkail Mashinim to Behel Mukayach Hariro take him Bibriosai Bisheshes in Breshis Kitoiv Ashahu Toiv Betachas Ashlemus. Oh, so this is why the Pasuk says at the end of every single creation, and Hashem saw that when the Creator sees the thing that was created, he sees it truly. He sees not only what is revealed and can be seen by everyone, he also sees what the thing has hidden in it, the potential. So right in the 6 days of creation, as soon as created, he saw that it was good. And good means completely perfect. So this is the obvious answer of the two mistakes that one can have, that Hashem was certainly able to create a perfect world. Was not. And he actually saw this perfection right in the beginning. V'ha'adam ein ela megala b'poel ma shenimtzo behel b'koyach. Hein benigay la'atzmai shemoitzi koyach zatoy v'anel lomim sheboy min ha'koyach al ha'poel v'idei zeh megala b'bri ha'toy v'amiti. And the person's job is only to reveal in actuality what is already potential there. This is true for himself, that he reveals the power that he has hidden in him. And through this, he reveals in the creation and hidden the true good. And this is what the Rebbe wrote to the class. And they were very nispal. They spent on this in discussion weeks and weeks and weeks. There's much more, the Rebbe's handwriting, but it's enough today. This is Ilu Nishmas, my father. Instead of learning Mishnayos, we learn the Rebbe's letter. In Mitzvah Hashem, next week, we'll continue our weekly program. Thank you.